Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a relationship where everything seemed fine, but then suddenly things started feeling off? You know what I'm talking about. Late nights at work, mysterious phone calls, and that gut feeling you just can't shake. Yeah, you've been there, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering if you're worrying over nothing or if there's something more going on. We've all been there. I'm sure you remember those sleepless nights where you're caught between trust and suspicion. It's a tough spot to be in. On one hand, you want to confront her and get the truth out in the open. But on the other hand, if you don't do shit, you might just get cucked. As you'll see, it's a catch-22 situation. You need to know the truth, but you can't risk the wrong move. That's where most guys turn to the usual tricks. The plain vanilla, how to catch a cheater tactics they find at Reddit. They'll tell you to watch out for nervous tics, notice if they avoid eye contact, or listen for inconsistencies in their story. These methods can be helpful, sure, but they are as amateur hour as it gets. If a woman is hell-bent to cheat on you, don't you think she'll cover her tracks? Trust me, she does. But here's the thing. What if there were advanced techniques that could take your lie detection skills to a whole new level? Today, you're going to learn just that. We will dive deep into mind control and discover how to use advanced mind-hacking techniques, uncover the truth with precision. This is where Shogun Method comes in. If you haven't heard of Shogun Method, let me just say this. It's like discovering a whole new level of the game when you thought you'd seen it all. Shogun Method isn't those lame-ass seduction ebooks you see online. In fact, Shogun Method is not seduction, it's mind control. Men learn from Shogun Method the art of controlling the entire narrative, turning women's mind into a maze they can't escape from. So, this is what I want to tell you. Stop using stupid, basic detection trickery. Today, you're going nuclear with advanced deception detector strategies straight out of the Shogun Method playbook. This is the stuff even the slickest liars can't wriggle out of. So, what exactly are deception detectors? Well, if you're already a Shogun, then you'll find loads of them detailed inside the Truth Extractor program in the Shogun Method knowledge base. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 deception detectors so you can stop with those amateur how to catch a cheater lie detection tricks. We call these the silent echo, mirror probing, the cognitive dissonance slipstream, the silent mirror, and finally, the big kahuna, the emotional echo. Let's start with the first deception detector, the silent echo. Now, this technique is all about leveraging the discomfort that comes from silence, and here's how it works. After you ask a direct or probing question, you say nothing else. You just go completely silent. Here's why this is so powerful. The female mind is wired to fill awkward silences, especially when she's feeling guilty or if she has got something to hide. So by staying quiet, you're creating this psychological pressure cooker that slowly brings her mind to a boil. Given a long enough silence, she'll feel compelled to say something just to break it. And often, she ends up revealing more than she intended, spilling details that expose her wrongdoing. Here's the reason the silent echo works so well. It's because silence disrupts the internal female narrative. Her mind races to fill the void, causing her to over-explain or contradict herself. The silent echo forces her to react in the moment, which is where mistakes happen. Give her enough rope and she'll hang herself. It's true. If you choose to use the silent echo, here's how it might play out. Picture this. Your girlfriend or wife comes home late and you ask where she has been. She'll answer with a lie, but instead of responding right away, you simply maintain eye contact and stay silent. As the silence stretches, she begins feeling anxious. She'll then say something like, I was out with friends, just hanging out, nothing special. And then she keeps talking, trying to fill the silence. The more she talks, the more likely she is to reveal inconsistencies or unnecessary details that could betray the truth. Now, the key to making this work is to maintain a stoic silence and never to respond to her. Silence forces her to unravel her own story. Don't acknowledge her statements at all, not even a simple, okay. The trick is to create the discomfort through awkward silences that will force her to spill the beans. Next, let's talk about the second deception detector, mirror probing. This one's especially effective because it's a double whammy of a technique. First, you repeat her own words back to them in a questioning tone, forcing her to elaborate. Second, you add a twist with emotional misdirection. You shift the conversation to an emotionally charged, unrelated topic. This catches her off guard, disrupting her thought process and making her more likely to trip up. I'll get into an example that shows exactly how this two-step technique works. But first, here's why it works so well. A woman who lies usually rehearses her stories. but only within a specific context. So, when you throw in an unexpected emotional topic, it throws her off balance. And when the conversation swings back to the original topic, she's more likely to stumble and mess up her story. Mirror probing adds to this by making her feel like her words are under a microscope, increasing her anxiety and the chances of her slipping up. Here's what that might look like. So, let's say your girlfriend or wife tells you, "I was at the office all night." You respond with, "At the office?" But then, you casually bring up how a buddy recently caught her woman lying about being at work. This shift in topic will discomfort her, and when you loop back to the original question with something like, "So, how late did you stay at the office?" she might stutter, change their story, or provide details that don't quite add up. It's a subtle, yet powerful application of what we call emotional misdirection. You're not just asking questions, you're guiding her down a path where her own words become their undoing. But what if she gets angry, or accusing me of not trusting her? Well, if that happens, you've got your answer. A lying woman will always resort to emotional reactions as a defense move. If she reacts to you in anger, then there's a 99.9% chance she's banging another guy. Trust me on this. Now, for most shoguns, the silent echo and mirror probing are enough to unmask even the biggest liar out there. But, in case you're dealing with a one-of-a-kind lying psychopath, then it's time to pull out the how to catch a cheater big gun. We call this the cognitive dissonance slipstream. First, some Shogun Method theory. Cognitive dissonance is when a woman holds two conflicting beliefs or ideas, and it creates this psychological discomfort she desperately wants to resolve. The slipstream technique plays on this by first introducing a contradiction in her story, creating dissonance, and then following up with a rapid series of unrelated questions. The idea is to overwhelm her with cognitive load so she'll slip up. Here's why this works. The human brain struggles to manage conflicting information when under pressure. When your girlfriend or wife is lying, she's already using up mental energy to keep the lie straight. By adding cognitive dissonance and then bombarding them with questions, you place an extra burden on their cognitive capacity. They're trying to juggle too many things at once, and that's when they drop the ball. Imagine this scenario. Let's say your woman mentions she was with a friend, Sarah, last night. You ask, "Wait up, didn't you say you were with Michael last week?" And before she answers, you quickly follow up with, "What were you guys doing? How late did you stay out? Did Sarah mention her new job?" The rapid-fire questions force her to think on her feet, and the added pressure from the conflicting stories can cause them to slip up, revealing inconsistencies. It's the psychological equivalent of a Shogun Method mind assault. Non-stop, brutal, and relentless. Now here's the kicker. Once in a while you can deploy all three deception deceptors and she won't even flinch. She could be a sociopath, and the only way to break her is with another battery ram until she surrenders. And the next technique you can use is the silent mirror. The silent mirror is a tactic that combines the reflective nature of mirror probing with the pressure-inducing silence of the silent echo. So, here's what you do. You repeat their words back to them in a questioning tone, but then you go silent. Like the silent echo, you just stop talking and let the silence do the work. Here's what you need to know about the silent mirror. You see, when a woman lies, she often feels the need to justify herself almost immediately. By mirroring her words and then going silent, you force her to confront the discomfort of her own lies. The silence acts like a magnifying glass on their anxiety, making her feel like she needs to fill the gap with more explanations. And often, those explanations lead to over-explanation or even accidental confessions. Here's how it could all play out. Let's say your girlfriend or wife says to you she's out with friends. You respond with, "Out with friends?" and then say nothing more. The silence that follows will create discomfort, and in her haste to explain, she might offer details or inconsistencies that give away the truth. You're using a woman's own psyche against them. Metaphorically, you're simply holding up a mirror and letting her see her own lies reflected back at her. Finally, let's wrap it up. The fifth deception detector, the emotional echo. The emotional echo involves bringing up an emotionally charged topic or story and then following it up with strategic silence. This sudden shift creates a cognitive gap that a woman will instinctively try to fill, often leading her to reveal more than she intended. The emotional intensity of the topic primes the female psyche to react defensively, making a woman more likely to slip up when you return to the original subject. Here's how it works. Emotionally charged topics heighten a woman's stress levels, making her more vulnerable to mistakes. By creating an emotional high and then dropping into silence, you disarm her defenses, forcing her to react instinctively rather than rationally. The emotional echo is effective because it combines the psychological pressure of emotional intensity with the cognitive challenge of silence. Let's look at an example. You might start by casually discussing a friend's recent experience with infidelity, watching for signs of discomfort in your woman. After the story, you suddenly go quiet, letting the emotional weight of the story linger. When you finally ask her a simple question, like what she did the night before, her heightened emotional state, combined with the silence, might cause her to panic and reveal more than she intended. It's a classic Shogun Method maneuver to let a woman's own emotions betray her. Okay, so we've now come to the end of this video, and so let's wrap things up. Here are the 5 how to catch a cheater deception detector tactics we've covered today. First, we talked about the silent echo, a technique that uses the power of silence to make a woman reveal more than she is willing to. Second, we explored mirror probing with emotional misdirection, where you guide a woman down a path that causes her to trip over her own lies. Third, we dived into the cognitive dissonance slipstream, a method that overloads the female psyche by creating contradictions and then bombarding her with questions. Fourth, we discussed the silent mirror, which combines mirroring a woman's words with strategic silence, forcing her to confront her own attempts to deceive you. And finally, we talked about the emotional echo, where you use emotionally charged topics and silence to break down a woman's defenses and expose the truth. So there you have it, 5 advanced Shogun Method deception detectors to enhance those basic, plain, vanilla lie detection tricks and take your skills to the next level. With these methods in your arsenal, you'll no longer be in the dark. You'll have the power to uncover the truth and take full control of your relationship or marriage. And if these techniques intrigued you, well, you've only scratched the surface of what Shogun Method can teach you. Imagine being able to detect lies with such precision that your woman will be terrified to even think about deception. At this point, she'll think twice before even telling a white lie about where she left the remote. That's the awesome power you get when you have Shogun Method under your belt. But what if you could take these techniques even further? What if you could harness the full power of the emotional roller coaster technique, known as fractionation, to create an unbreakable bond in your relationship? This is where the Shogun Method online masterclass comes in. In the masterclass, you'll discover the more elaborate version of fractionation. It's a technique so powerful that it can draw a woman closer to you, making her emotionally addicted in ways she won't even realize or expect. It's like having the ultimate relationship superpower at your fingertips, one that can transform how you connect with your woman on the deepest levels. And the best part is that the masterclass is free. Take the next step in mastering the art of influence and control in your relationship. Join the Shogun Method online masterclass today and unlock the secrets that have been kept within the community of Shoguns for years. All you need to do is to sign up at fractionation.org. Go there directly or click the link in the video description below. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from the best. Click the link below to sign up and start your journey to becoming a true Shogun in your relationship. Remember, the power is now in your hands, so don't let it slip away. Sign up for the Shogun Method online masterclass now and take control over your relationships like never before. Sign up directly at fractionation.org now. Fractionation.org.